Bills National Football Show. Welcome aboard here on a Football Monday. Thank you so much for coming aboard. And I would like to give a speech. I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the planet. Haven't been coached by Frank Reich. I wanted to win that for him. Dude, seriously, I thought I was watching Matter Day versus John Bosco in a high school football national championship game. Holy cow, man. I was hoping to get a head coach at the podium, but good grief. Holy cow. It's always good to see when your coach is more emotional than your quarterback. Look, man, I mean, there are so many areas to go. And by the way, you're going to get objectivity here. You're not going to get cheerleading like most people are with this. Hey, it's a win. No shit. Hey, wait a minute. Congratulations. You beat a shitty Indianapolis Colts team. You don't get pats on the back for that. That's expected. Act like a freaking Super Bowl contender, not somebody that's getting by beating shitty teams. The Eagles have to start acting like champions, or you're going to keep fumbling along, playing bad football. And then when you play somebody good like Brady in the postseason, he's going to bounce you again. He's going to bounce you again. You took on the greatness of Michael Pittman and Matt Ryan, who's completely out of gas. 5 of their starters were out. Jesus criminy. Don't blow the damn Colts up like that's Peyton Manning's Colts or Johnny Unitas' Colts. How funny is that? Jeff Saturday outcoached Nick Sirianni and Shane Steichen all day long. Nick Sirianni was a joke. 4th and 10. Your offense sucked all day. And you go for it on 4th and 10. This guy's emotions. I'm going to say to you guys one thing here. Passion's the greatest thing on the planet. It's the greatest thing on the planet. It could be your greatest asset. But it also could be your undoing. That's going to cost this guy. He was completely outcoached against a shitty Colts team. I mean it, man. You don't get pats on the back for that. Now, there's certain players that are going to get pats on the back here. Okay? Hey, Dre, there's certain guys that are going to get massive pats on the back. Okay? Awful first half. Worst first half of the Eagles all year long. The coaching staff on the offensive side was a joke all day long. That team is a one-and-done team. You keep playing like that. I don't give a shit what your record is. You ain't going far with that kind of performance. You're not going far. You're not a better offense than the Cowboys right now because of Goddard being out. You're not. You do not have a better offense. Plus AJ being injured. You don't have a better offense in Dallas. Goes for it in the 3rd, 4th, and 10. How dumb can you get on the road? And you're getting your head kicked in. Offensively. Jonathan Gannon's guys stepped up. Outside of the opening drive, they were really good. They did a nice job on Jonathan Taylor. And I'll say this to you. Linval Joseph, you got my respect. So did Dominic Sue. Those guys were fabulous. They were fabulous. 17, 18 plays. Hey, am I right when I say this? That didn't they start Linval Joseph? I mean, I couldn't believe it. Those guys walked right off the street, but it's because of the amount of years that those guys have played. They did a fantastic job. Congratulations. Trevor, appreciate it, brother. They were fantastic. I thought the run defense, you kept the team under a C note. All fabulous, all good. Actually, I don't really think the secondary played all that hot, but there were some missed tackles out there. Hey, don't go to a forefront anymore, please. You get killed at it. You get killed when you're in a forefront. You need to stick to that five-front base because you're very good with it. Dominic Sue's got some gas left. We're going to see how he plays out over the next couple weeks. I mean, Nick Sirianni's coaching staff on offense was terrible. Absolutely brutal. Brutal all day long. All day long. All day long. Jalen Hurts was sensational. And people wanted me to rip him. Are you crazy? If you don't have Jalen Hurts on the field against the Colts, there's not a chance in hell you win. Not a chance in hell. 16 carries, not good enough. You can't have your quarterback running 16 times, or this guy's going to be a walking concussion coming up. You keep running him 16 times, he'll be in concussion protocol maybe the Dallas week, and that would be a crime. You don't want that guy getting hit. Hurts was great. He was. Hell of a lot more calmer and more poisonous, stupid coach. Rah-rah guy. I mean, seriously, this guy should be coaching high school, not NFL football. Some go, it's the face of faith. Nobody acts like that in history of Philadelphia. And by the way, some go, Sills, he wasn't screaming at Colts fans. How do you know that? The look of it looks bad. You look like a cheerleader. Act like a professional. Act like you've been there. Act like you're a contender for a Super Bowl. Not that you just beat the 4-6-1 Colts. It's unbelievably bad looking. What happens when you go into a losing streak then? Is this guy going to have that kind of emotion on the other end too? I like my coaches to be this. Never get too high, never get too low. When things are going great, you never get over the top. And when things are too low, you never get that low. You look to your coach for even keel. This guy's all over the map. He coaches like it too. Hey, I'm starting to see a flaw in this guy. You can rattle Nick Sirianni. Well, the emotion of Frank got to. You're an NFL head coach, guy. You're supposed to be a professional. Nothing's supposed to rattle you. The Colts rattled you? Wait till Brady gets a hold of you. Hey, we're better than. No, you're not. Thank God you got Jalen. Thank God you got Jalen. Sirianni looked like a high school coach. Coaching some Philadelphia high school. Terrible. Terrible. Offense was everywhere. You'll never beat an elite team with that performance. You've got Jalen Hurts, and you are lucky. You are lucky. The Colts. We're talking about the Colts here. You want to know what a quarterback is? I watched him last night. His name is Patrick Mahomes. That guy's a freak show. You know, he's got almost 30 touchdowns. Hey, by the way, so you still think Jalen's going to throw for $4,000? Got 7 games left. What's he at, 2,200 now? You think he's going to throw for another 1,800 yards over the next 7 weeks? Okay. I want to see that. You're lucky. But you need luck in this game. You know, hey, the Colts suck. It's a train wreck organization. Look, Jalen Hurts kept you alive. He kept you alive. Okay? He kept you alive. Man, that's it. Don't ever compare Hurts to Patrick Mahomes. It's like comparing the sun and the moon. There is no comparison. Out of your tree. Unbelievable. Here's the numbers now. 17-16. First downs, 18-14. Third down efficiency, 5 of 12. Total plays. Hey, you kicked it up 8 plays. 61 plays, a lot of 3 and outs. Colts had more. Total yards, you kept them under 300. Again, the defense played well. Rushing, held the team under a C note, 99 yards. Eagles, 147. Eagles had 33 attempts. Very good. Of course, Jalen, 16. And 6 turnovers in the last 2 weeks. Got to clean that up. Got to clean that up. Individual numbers. Hurts, 18 of 25, 190, 107, 1 and a touchdown. Thought he was great. Your leading rusher, 16 carries, 86 yards for Jalen. 2 touchdowns in the game, 1 rushing, 1 throwing. Jonathan Taylor, 22 for 84 yards. This is after he coming off 147 yards against the Raiders last week and a touchdown. The Colts are limited, man. Michael Pittman's their only dude. 6 catches, 75 yards. And here, look at this. Devontae Smith, 6 for 78. A.J. Brown, 5 for 60. And a fumble. I mean, again, the takeaways are they survived. And yes, that is part of the narrative for an NFL season, surviving games. But the question I'll ask you, you think the Eagles are getting better over the last month, or you think they're getting worse as a football team? You think they're getting better or worse? If I had to put that out there, I'd say this. I think teams are figuring them out. That's not championship football. You don't even act like a champion. I mean, your coach doesn't act it. I saw Coach Howie Roseman there at the tunnel waiting for all his guys to come in, congratulating all his players and coaches. I don't know who's got a bigger ego, Jerry Jones or him. I mean, seriously, Coach Roseman, there he was at the locker room door waiting for all of his guys. Unbelievable, man. Go up to the GM box, guy. What the hell are you doing down there? This guy's got to be part of the whole thing. No wonder Doug got fired. Doug probably had enough of that. Bro, this is about my team. You undermine your coach when you do that shit. Get out of there. What are you there possibly for? What's the GM possibly there for at the front door of the locker room? What possibly could he be there for, except that he wanted to have the camera on him? You guys are reading your clippings. You're going to get bounced. This team offensively is not playing well. The quarterback is. I'm going to tell you this. This is going to be the craziest thing I'll say to you. Boy, you're lucky Jalen Hurts is on your football team, or you guys would not be winning ball games. And you'd be losing to shitty teams like the Texans, the Cardinals, and this last team you played, the Colts. Jalen Hurts is doing whatever he has to win games. Hey, by the way, some would go like this. Sills, are you flipping your boat around on Hurts? No. This is what you have. That's the style of play you have. It's going to be slow, methodical. Go down the field. This is what we're talking about. Is that my style of quarterback? Absolutely, 100% absolutely not happening when I have a quarterback who can't throw for touchdowns and win games in the air. Absolutely not would I have that. Oh, no, better yet. Wait, I'll take that back. I'm not paying for that. Look at Steven, 9-1. Congratulations. You beat a ton of shit teams, and now you're playing like one. That offense was terrible. And you know what? Someone's going, Sills, 9-1. You're right. You think you're a championship football team coming off that Sunday game? Yes or no? You think you're a championship football team? You sure don't act like it. I can't tell. I'll get to the Vikings, Jeremiah. I'll get to those guys. GT goes, yes, of course you have a 1-point win versus a 4-6-1 team. You struggle out loud. Washington dominates you, and the week before that against Houston, you struggled with that team, and you think you're a championship team. Or no, wait. You're playing championship football. I agree with you. I laugh at you too. Can it get better? Guys have to get healthier. The Cowboys have a better offense than the Philadelphia Eagles today. Why? Goddard, his loss was felt. Can I tell you the biggest significant part of having Dallas Goedert? What do you guys think had the biggest significance? And guess what? They got beat and you got beat by the shitty Washington Commanders. What do you think Dallas Goedert's biggest loss is? And it was so evident on Sunday. That's right, Jeremiah. JM. Way to go, guys. Way to go. There you go, Mr. International Travis. Absolutely. How many times did the tight ends get called for holding when they were trying to set the edge? And guys, Indianapolis doesn't have a pass rush. There's really nobody on that team who's a good pass rusher. Buckner in the middle is a good run stopper, but really, the other guys on that team, there was very little pass rush. Very little. Dallas Goedert was felt not only in the offensive passing numbers, but he was also felt more so in the blocking game. Every single time that they tried to run outside against the Colts, they got called for holding. I counted 7 penalties. No, excuse me. I think there were 7 total. I think there were 4 that were on the tight ends. That guy was felt in the run game. Mulatto taking a step back, playing hurt. I think it's the latter there, Philly. I think he's playing hurt. Yeah, he was definitely felt in that run game. Okay? Do you believe the Eagles are playing good football right now? You think they're playing good ball? I think they're playing winning ball. Your talent is so here. Guys, but wait a minute. I am going to say this to go along with some of you guys. Okay? Watch this. I will say this. Their talent is so good. I'm talking about you guys being a champion here, not winning the division. I don't care about you winning. Well, I do care about you winning the division. Goals are set at the beginning of the year. Win your division, get into the playoff, get into the tournament. Anything can happen. We've seen it before. Hell, you've experienced the greatest run, in my opinion, in recent years when Foles got in. You never know, right? Jalen Hurts took a step forward in my eyes as a leader. Never got rattled. He was behind. Called his own play at the end. Dude, that's putting the game in your hands and going, I got to go get this for my guys because we're not playing great. And he did. The coaching staff didn't help him. Okay? I think Slay's, hey, 5-star, I think Slay's hurt too, man, because he was beat often. Look at Jay Slay. Now you're on Mahomes' jock, guy with 30 touchdowns and 3,000 passing yards with 8 games left. Yeah, I am. Why wouldn't you be? Why wouldn't you be? Jalen Hurts took a step forward. He is a bona fide MVP candidate. That was my favorite performance by Hurts. Coming off a loss, how would he respond? Nobody around him was playing good. Coaches sucked. Running game was really him. Wide receivers were non-factor. There was nothing going. So he had to figure it out. And he did. On the road. Against a high charged up football team. Colts are playing on emotion. They are. Playing on emotion. Hurts found a way. Some of you will go, Sills, it wasn't a very good, he won it. If you don't have Jalen Hurts on that team, you're not winning that ball game. You have no chance. If Gardner Minshew's in there, you're getting beat. You probably would have got beat 16-3. That kid Gainwell does not belong on the field. He's not very good. I don't know where these people come off with saying that he's good. He's a dude. He's a dude. He's not good. That guy's not a good player. He's a guy. He's average. The guy should be on a scout team. Don't make that guy more than he's not. He's not. Casually. Dude, that old line is going to open holes for a lot of people. There's nothing where I go like this when I see Kenneth Gainwell play. Hey, man, wow. There's not a wow factor about him at all. Dude, what's up with Sanders? Will somebody tell me, is he on the IR? You talk about milk carton? We got the milk carton boys tomorrow. What's up with Miles Sanders? Is he injured? Or are we just like getting out coached? Why is Miles Sanders the last 2 weeks not a factor on your football team? Where's Miles Sanders? What's the problem here? Or is Howie playing games because they got to move off him and they don't want this guy to get his 1,400 yards? To me, and don't say that that's not like Howie to do that. He sat everybody at the end of that game a couple of years back and threw that game. Kelsey, another bad snap that cost the team points. Happens, Isaiah. Me sitting here ripping Jason Kelsey is not going to happen. That guy, he's built up too much equity for me to sit there and look at him and go, you got to play better, because he's a great ball player, an essential part of that team if they're going to do anything this year. They don't want to pay him. I think they're not playing Miles Sanders because Sanders is on pace for 14, or he was, until this last couple weeks here. They're just not giving him the carries. Why? Is he hurt? Does anyone know? Because I don't understand what's going on with him. Please tell us why. Tell us why aren't we 1-9 if we're so awful, Big Sills? See, look at Stan. Stan's cheering because he beat a 4-6-1 Colts team. And he goes, you sound like a one. Yeah. Because if you come from a place where you think that you need to improve, you're going to be in a position to be a champion. When you think you got everything going right, then you start running around stadiums, hollering and jumping in stands and doing the Packer leap or the Lambeau leap like Nick Sirianni. We got to come up with a new leap for Lincoln Financial. The Sirianni leap. I'm getting ready for that. Pretty soon we're going to have the Sirianni leap. Nick's going to be jumping in the stands. Be doing a Sirianni leap. Act like a champion, man. Maybe if you act like a champion, you'll play like one every week. I'm telling you, these teams are figuring it out. You could see it each week. The Lincoln Leap, starring Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman. Those guys taking bows after a game against the Colts. All crying and shit. You beat the Colts, guy. If you have an emotional issue with how they fired Frank, you're the head coach. And you're taking shots at another organization that hired you, that gave you an opportunity to work there because of Frank. Frank Reich's doing okay. He got $8 million to go out the door. Frank's okay. He got $8 million. You're shedding a tear for a guy who got $8 million out the door? Bro, so hokey. So freaking hokey. Guy acts like a high school coach. It's embarrassing. Yeah, I know, man. I saw Coach Roseman. I saw Coach Roseman, head coach, greeting everybody as they went into the locker room. I thought it was great, man. Thought it was great. Seriously. Coach Roseman, man, he was fabulous. Again, can I tell you the guy that I was most impressed with was Jalen Hurts. Jalen was the most professional guy on that field, and those two D tackles were the two best players on the defense. TJ Edwards played well too. Jack, what's up, brother? I was incredibly impressed with the two tackles. They were the best players, man. 7 tackles, sack, TFLs, everything. They were great. I was pleasantly surprised. Got to give it up to Tracy Rocker too, man. I thought he put him in a good position. Dude, you guys really, I mean, that was good looking. That was very good looking. Still's finding ways to shit talk the Eagles. I didn't have to. Did you not watch the game? Look at 9-1. Oh, you must have came out of that Colts game feeling even grander about a Super Bowl, right? 9-1? Shit, that team will get bounced in the opening round of a playoff game with them. You put that kind of performance out there, Brady sends your ass home again. Embarrassing fashion, too. Hey, I can't wait to see the Cowboy game now. That Cowboy game got a little bit more juiced up. Absolutely. Joseph, I love Philadelphia fans. Record and positioning matters when it comes to the Eagles because they got a good one. But hey, dude, this kid's totally getting better. This kid's totally getting better. I thought it was a great step forward for Jalen Hurts. I came away from that game doing this. When that final second clicked off and they started pushing them back, especially in that last drive, and they ended up closing the deal to win it, I was like, man, Jalen Hurts has come a long way. You know, he's come a long way. He's putting his leadership and now his talent all together. Ugly win for him as the player and not this side freak show that was going on behind the scenes here with Frank and Howie and all that other bullshit that doesn't mean anything to the outcome of a game. I don't care, Frank. I've known Frank longer than Nick Sirianni's known Frank. We were teammates. I know Frank Reich probably 25 years more longer than he does. Okay? I don't give a shit about Frank Reich. When I'm playing a game or coaching a game, that has nothing to do with the outcome of a ball game. Nothing. On Green Bay, crying at the podium. Seriously, man, I thought I was watching a soap opera. It's embarrassing. Well, I really love the emotion. I don't want my coach emotional like that. I want my coach to be level-headed. I want him to be Tony Dungy. When Tony Dungy was 0-8 his first year, Tony was never any more emotional than when he won the Super Bowl. He was the same. Tony Dungy could be 0-8 or just win a Super Bowl. You're going to get the same guy. You know why? Players and everyone in your organization look to leadership. Leadership has even keel mentality. And you know what they do? They give you and they look you and they give you and they reek of confidence. That doesn't reek of confidence. That reeks of sidebar bullshit. A.J. Brown is not a selfish player. I thought the kid from the Colts made a good play coming up from behind and knocking the ball out. Stop doing that. I am not on A.J. Brown for fumbling that. I am not. Dude, those guys on the other side of the football get paid too. Those guys get paid too. He made a football play on A.J. Brown. The ball's not going to always bounce the Eagles' way. But when you got leadership at your quarterback position, more than not, you're going to push it across the finish line like you did late in that ball game to win it. See, you're not going to get this anywhere else because Pauly Shores of the world and the Whips and the Fanatics and all the rest of these cheerleader guys. Well, you know, it's a win. And you start blowing up the Colts like you guys beat Peyton Manning's Colts, Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison. You don't get kudos for barely beating shitty teams. You got to put those teams away. You know the problem with the Eagles this year has been? You guys are right. You're 9-1. Great record. You really don't finish people off, though, do you? You keep everybody hanging around. One day that's going to matter in a game that matters. It's going to be the most critical game. And all that equity that you built up, how about this? If this football team ends up losing 2 games, 1 game, 3 games, you get into the playoffs and get bounced, it'll be the biggest disappointment in Eagle history. Go back to the final Eagle game against the Buccaneers in the final game at the Vet. To me, that game and that Foles game, too, as you were in the playoffs against the Saints, those 2 games stick out to me the most. You get bounced, it'll be the biggest collapse of all time. You are what your records. Okay. We'll see. You keep squeezing by the 4 and 6 and 1 teams and the Washington Commanders, and who you got, the Packers now? Hey, this Packer game's going to be interesting. What Aaron Rodgers are you going to get? What Aaron Jones are you going to get? I'm going to be interested to see how that plays out. Packers pretty much have loaded up the U-Hauls now. So, but that game is going to be interesting, but I still think the Eagles are better. The Cowboy game and the Titans game is going to be very interesting. The Titan game. You know, they really miss A.J. Brown. No, they don't. The Titans don't miss A.J. Brown at all. Not at all. They're just fine. Sitting at 7-3, they're okay. You know, they're going to miss him so much. Tannehill just threw for 331 this past weekend, and that Treylon Burke kid had 114 yards. Hey, Big Sills, what do you think of the kid who lost his scholarship at UF? I saw that. I'll get into that later on in a couple hours from now. Sills, I wouldn't be surprised if we lose to the Packers. Got to beat that team. Don't say that. Put that team out of its misery. Sirianni's passion is what we love about him. Bad take. Really, Anton? Bad reaction, in my opinion. I hated it. You go right ahead. You root for the cheerleader. Hated it. Let me see. Can you imagine Andy Reid doing the Lincoln Leap? Big old Andy, man. Jumping in the stands at Lincoln Financial. Or Doug Peterson jumping in the stands. Or Dick Vermeil even. Talk about an emotional guy. How about Dick jumping in the stands? There hasn't been a more dominant team than the Birds this year. Until Washington got a hold of you. Dominated you. Here I thought Cousins was changing. Me too, dude. Calvin, what's up, Big Sill? Saying hi from Jonestown, PA. Love it, brother. Thank you, Calvin. Sills, how can I not say that the Eagles' performance has been terrible for the last 3 weeks? But yes, know this. I'm not saying. I'm chipping away now. This is not like covering the Jets. Jets got a lot of holes, especially that shit quarterback they have. Okay? Zach Wilson's terrible. There is no hope for that kid in New York. Another turd quarterback draft by the New York Fireman Ed Jets. Sorry, Jody. He's terrible. You're not going to sit and kill that team that much because your quarterback sucks. We're trying to win a championship here. Act like it. You're talking about, hey, don't you come away from beating bad teams with not a good taste in your mouth? Or is it this for you? Hey, did you see what we did against the Colts? Wow, that did great. I don't look at it like, man, I'll tell you what. Every time I played against an inferior team and I didn't play that hot, I couldn't wait to get out for the next week. That never left a good taste in my mouth. I don't know, man. Fireman Ed, he's back. Patriots beat him on a punt return. Typical. 14 straight in a row. Talk about owning your draws. Brian, it should be a bad taste because you know why? Why? Brian goes, it's a bad taste. You know why, Brian? You're expecting championship. Goddard missing is a significant reason the offense stalled. Agreed, Janet. Hey, Janet, how many times did they try to set the edge and they got called for holding? How many times they get called for holding on the perimeter? 4 out of the 7 penalties? At least. Sills, just answer this. Why didn't Mahomes put away the Colts? Logan, do me a favor. Don't bring up Mahomes in any way, shape, or form when you're talking. Teams lose, like you lost to the shitbag Washington Commanders and like you struggled against the 4-6-1 Colts. It happens. It happens, and they get paid too. That's why. There's a reason there's only been one undefeated team in NFL history. Teams lose. Teams lose. Let me see this. Let's check this out here. So you guys, you're not really comparing Patrick Mahomes. Bro, it's Mahomes and everyone else for MVP. Jalen second, and then it's the third guy is far distance too. Patrick Mahomes statistics 2022. Look at this. He's got 3,200 yards, 28 touchdown passes, only 7 picks, and he's got 8 games left. That guy's going to throw for 5,500 yards, 55 touchdowns. Yeah, you're right. You're close. Yeah, you're right. You're close. Hey, don't try to use my logic. Come in. Yeah, right. Hey, let's take a look at Jalen's stats. What's he got? 14 touchdown passes. Jalen Hurts 2022 stats. And two weeks in a row, he's under. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Last 5 weeks, he's only gone over 240 yards twice. He's got 2,400 yards, 15 touchdowns. With 7 games left, 106. So you think he's getting a 4,000? He's going to throw for 1,600 more yards over the next 7 weeks. Somebody told me, Xander told me he's going to throw for 7,000 yards and 75 touchdowns. I was like, really? Okay. Okay. Rushing touchdowns, baby. You better have rushing touchdowns. You'd have got beat by the Colts, dog. How many rushing touchdowns? Okay, let me add. How many rushing touchdowns does Patrick Mahomes have this year in 2022? He's got 1, so he got 29. Jalen, baby. It's Mahomes. And it's second. He's second in like QBR. I mean, this guy's unbelievable, man. What you watched last night, he was amazing. Jeff Saturday outcoached the Eagle offensive coaches. I thought it was one of the most embarrassing things I've seen all year. There was a guy who was in a booth 3 weeks ago breaking down film for NFL Countdown, and he outcoached you guys all day yesterday. Unbelievable. But Saturday lost. Congratulations. You beat the Colts. Oh, my God. Crazy. Eagles should play me over Gainwell. That kid Gainwell's not a good player. I keep hearing people tell me he's good. He's not. Because, hey, do you guys remember what Xander, right? You guys remember what I said to you on Friday? This game should not be close. And remember what I said? I can't see the Colts scoring over 17 points. Just so happens they scored 16. And I also said this. We'll know after the first quarter if this is going to be a game or not. As soon as they took that ball down the field, I knew it would be a 4-quarter game. 4-quarter was a 58-minute game. Actually, a 59-minute game against that team. How you doing? Yeah, you almost got beat by a guy who was wearing a ESPN blazer. Unbelievable. TJ Edwards, I thought, played well. Kaiser White, not so well. The two guys in the middle were a factor. Okay? They were a factor. They clearly were. Held the team under 300 yards. The defense stepped up. Gets a very limited offensive football team. The only guy you had on that field that was worth a shit was Jonathan Taylor. And it made it a 1-point game. Kaiser White. I agree. Okay. Hey, and Robert Quinn, dude, they got to figure something out with him or cut him. Or cut him. Hey, by the way, the Vikings, here's one thing we have now come to understand about the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings cannot win when they're in the spotlight. They had that game at home against the Cowboys, and that game was so out of hand that the network switched it to the Bengal game. They took the Cowboys off the television. They never take Cowboy games off TV. Traditionally, the highest ranked games. And put the Bengal-Pittsburgh game on. I was like, what? They put the Bengals and the Steelers on. They destroyed them. Dak looked great. Running game looked great. Tony Pollard looked great. You could say they got O-line issues. It's going to be a tough team. The Cowboys, now, again, I want to see them be more consistent. Here's the one thing I'll say. I think their offense is better right now than the Eagle offense. And if you played a game against them, they'd put up way more points than you. However, I want to see Dallas do it consistently. I want to see the Cowboys do this consistently. They have not been able to put these games back to back. And by the way, they got beat by that Packer team up at Lambeau. Mr. International, I mean, Justin Jefferson, for the season that he's having, dude, you can't lose to the Cowboys and then turn around and the Eagles dust you too. And every time your football team, by the way, they're still the number 2 seed. Gray says, you have a better chance of winning the Powerball than run through Linville Joseph and Dominic Sue. They were great. They really were. And they played with great effort. I saw some get-off too, man. I did. I saw some get-off. Dak chokes when it counts. You know what's funny? You guys talk about Dak Prescott choking. Coming from an organization that hasn't won anything with this current coach or quarterback, it's rich. You have won nothing. Nothing. You don't even have a hat yet. Oh, wait, you do. You made the playoffs last year. Nothing. Nothing. There's nothing you've won. That's what makes Sirianni and his dopey antics look childish. I mean, I could see if Frank Reich was dying of cancer or something, or this guy's on a respirator, or he's got COVID, or what have you. He's got $8 million out the door. He'll get another head coaching job. Shit, the Eagles will probably hire him. Relax. It's okay. I didn't really like how the Colts dude. What have you won? You have no equity in this league yet. You have no equity. Dak has no equity. Dak has zero equity with me, as does Cousins. Omar, Sills wants a ring in week 1. You god dang right I do, Omar. I want a ring in week 1, week 2, week 3, all the way through to week 20. You're damn right. Play like you're a champion every single freaking time you step on the field, and you'll never be let down. Never let down. You're damn right. You go into every game with a championship mentality, Omar. Not some weak-ass, lame-ass attitude. You play like a champion. You think like a champion. You walk like a champion. You practice like a champion all the time. Or why do it? Charles goes, really? Tampa looking? Hey, Charles, before you start talking about the Bucks, you better take that nasty taste out of your mouth after they beat the shit out of you in the playoffs. Look at you talking shit on Brady and the Bucks after they waxed you. You got commentators screaming at Jalen. By the way, does Jalen throw to anybody else? I mean, does he throw to anybody else? I mean, let's see here. Do you know Quez Watkins has 12 catches on the year? 12. Let's see. Smith had 6. Brown had 5. So 11 catches between those two dudes. Jesus, criminy. Talk about not spreading it around. I wish we had the Bucks this week. No, you don't. Not after that performance against the greatness of the Colts. No, you don't. No, you don't. What, you think you would have beat Brady with that performance you had against the Colts? He'd have put 4 touchdowns on you. Really? Sills is a Tampa fan? Once again, I don't root for any team. You got me wrong. I've told you this. I root for winning football and content. Sills is a fan of any organization that would give him a gig. Bro, I've worked with so many. It's all good. Hired personally by Al Davis. Personally. Dan, how'd you like to come and do the pre- and post-game show for the Oakland Raiders? Mr. Davis, thank you. Hey, congratulations. You beat a shitty Colts team. And your coach is in the stands doing the Lincoln Leap. He's doing the Lincoln Leap. I was watching that shit, man. And he wasn't screaming at any coach. It's dopey. It's totally dopey. I'm not sure I've ever seen a coach do that. An NFL head coach. That's why we love him, though, Dan. No, you don't. You don't. Hold on. You like him. I like him. Moshe got the best of him there. I don't know. My coach is crying and jumping, doing the Lincoln Leap. I don't know what to say. Hey, I'm a little embarrassed for him, actually, man. Hey, I won't lie to you, man. I'm a little embarrassed for your coach here on a Monday. You know, the guy's in tears. He's hugging Coach Roseman, and he's doing the Lincoln Leap, and he's telling everybody how shitty the Colts organization is after he beats them because they fired a guy who gave him $8 million out the door. I don't know. I don't know. I was embarrassed. Oh, he's a funny character. Yeah. Love Coach. Yeah, I bet you do. Raider fans hated Dan too. Not likely, kid. Not likely. I'll post a shitload of pictures of me in the black hole with them broadcasting. I'm the only man in the history of the black hole broadcasting a show on radio live from the black hole. Hurts needs 227 yards per game to reach 4,000. I'll still bet on it. Yeah, because why? The last couple of weeks he's been throwing for it. He's a CEO type coach. CEOs jump in the stands. So Elon Musk jumps in the stands at Twitter. They got a nice mezzanine section. And as soon as he walked in with that sink and all that shit, Elon Musk jumped into the Twitter stands doing the wave. I thought Nick was going to do the wave, man. That's why they play for him. Look at Omar. Omar, this ain't high school, dude. You play for the Eagles because you get paid $9 million a year. You think I'm playing because the coach is up there doing the Lincoln Leap? I think you don't understand professional football. When I get $1 million deposited to my account every Tuesday, that's what I'm playing for. And that's what every other NFL guy in that building is playing for. What, do you think Dominic Kitsu took a cheap $2.5 million deal? I'll come play for nothing because, it's the Eagles. Guys are crazy. Embarrassing. I'd like to thank everybody, especially Coach Roseman, for showing up at the door. What's up with Howie, too? Can Howie lay in the weeds and let all the things that he's done with that organization take shape? Or does he have to really throw himself out there so everybody knows that he's doing all this too? Does he really have to be out front and center? I think that's a dopey look too. He'll be doing the Lincoln Leap with the Lombardi Trophy. Anton, he does that. I'll do the Lincoln Leap. I'll do the Lincoln Leap. If he's... Hey, my favorite thing is watching Brady all drunk and shit throwing the Lombardi Trophy in Tampa Bay, right there from boat to boat. What was that, number 7? Yeah, which you'll beat him, right? Sirianni looked like a Frisbee jumping in the stand. Oh, my God. Win or lose, Dan's always negative towards the Eagles. Not true, man. I said without Jalen Hurts, you are nowhere in that game. You got beat 16-3 for sure. If Jalen's not your quarterback, you're smacked around in that game. You're lucky. Hurts will reach 4,000 while losing his best pass target and got it for 4 weeks. Well, that's a proclamation, not fact, but okay. Sean, that's a proclamation, my friend, is what that's called. That's not a fact. And we did beat them. Eagles are too balanced off. They're not balanced. Marina, what were you watching Sunday? Balanced? Quez Watkins has 12 catches this year. Balanced? Let's see. Here, watch this. I'll show you something here in the last month and a half for Devontae Smith. 18 for 148. Let's add this up now. He's got 24 catches. He's got 78. So in the last month and 2 weeks, Devontae Smith has 24 catches for 226 yards. Yeah, that's spreading it around. Yeah, it's balanced. Is Jalen Hurts better than Watson now? Absolutely not. Sills can't spell proclamation. No, but you know what I can spell? Cheerleader. Jalen hit 7 different receivers yesterday. Then how come the number is under 200 yards passing? Hassan got off the bus. I saw him. I couldn't believe it. Shit, man, I was getting ready to get in my teepee and send out smoke signals. Hassan. Hassan. I was going to go in my teepee and start sending out smoke signals. But he showed up, man. Hassan showed up. So he's not a milk carton kid this week. And only 25 throws. Smith has more catches than AJ. Yeah, and I could promise you this. Devontae Smith will probably have 890 yards in receiving yards this year. He'll have a worse year than he did a year ago. A couple more catches. Yeah, he's on pace. Did Sills give Hurts any credit today? Absolutely. Hey, Zeus, you don't have Jalen Hurts, you don't win that ball game. You don't. Watson's going to be washed when it comes back, guaranteed. Okay. Tell you what, just like everyone, you keep with Jalen. I'll stick with Josh Allen. I'll stick with Mahomes. I'll stick with Deshaun Watson. I'll stay with them dudes. You can have your guy. So let me get this right. Jalen Hurts had almost as many carries as he had completions. That'll work out. Hey, how's Justin Fields' shoulder doing? How's Justin Fields' shoulder doing? Remember I said that. I'm going to leave it there. You keep running Jalen Hurts 16 times, he won't finish the year. He won't finish the year. You got Tennessee coming up. I think you lose that game. You're not better coached than that team. You're not better coached. I can't wait for that game. I think you'll beat Green Bay. I think you beat Green Bay. Allen is a born loser because your guys won nothing. 0. Yeah, you're right. When you watch Josh Allen play, you see Jalen Hurts, right? Field squat 600, man. I got to take a timeout. I do want to hit on, there's so much to go here. Playoff picture. A little bit more kudos on the defense. I got to start giving some kudos on the defense. Gary Cobb, Fox 29 at the bottom of the hour, and hour number 2, as always. Dak Prescott. God, there's so much. A.J. Brown. Where are you, bro? Patrick Mahomes. And there's Quez Watkins again. 12 catches all year long. I thought he was going to be a factor this year. Please hit the like button. Hour number 2. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
Don't wait until after Thanksgiving for leftovers. It's the new leftover sales event at Jeff D'Ambrosio Destination Downingtown. Jeff must get rid of hundreds of new 2022 vehicles on the lot. Rams, Grand Cherokees, Wranglers. Jeff has them all for less. Jeff has reduced prices and payments to the lowest they've been all year. And Jeff knocks down high interest rates. Save thousands more than anywhere else. Plus, get more for any trade or lease return. You always win at Jeff's. Great selection, best price. Hurry in now. Jeff D'Ambrosio Destination Downingtown. Nobody treats you better. Black Friday sales event.
At Pond Lehocky, we've recovered billions of dollars for our clients, and we're confident we can do the same for you. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured clients obtain some of the largest settlements in Pennsylvania. One conversation is all it takes to help you and your family get back on track. If you've been injured in an accident, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean.
At Salus University, our graduates are among the most highly trained in their profession because of our unique emphasis on research, interprofessional collaboration, and early clinical exposure. Learn more about our programs at salus.edu.
Getting emotional. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I don't know what. Hell, hold on. I got to wipe my tears away. Yeah. I'm very emotional over Frank too, you know? Very emotional. Oof. Reyes, how you doing, brother? Greg, hang on, Greg. Gary Cobb, bottom of the hour. I'm very emotional for Gary, too. My friend got fired with the Colts, and he's sitting at home making $8 million. And the Eagles want to hire him. So do the Jaguars. And other teams are going to look at him as head coach, but very emotional. Let me jump in the stands. Man, I don't know, man. I just, I'd like my coaches to have a little bit more professionalism. Guys love Coach Sirianni. The only reason that thing kind of works a little bit, because there are some guys that are in that locker room that have a tie to Frank, like Jason Kelsey. So I could see that. It's the only reason it's not completely pathetic is because there are some dudes in that locker room that have a tie to Frank. And probably, they didn't win that game for Frank. Nick wanted to win it for Frank. The players didn't want to win it for Frank. They're winning it for home field advantage. You think at any time, any one of those Colt players or any one of those Eagle players were thinking about Frank Reich? The only guy that made it about Frank was the head coach. So why would he put himself in front of the team like that when those guys weren't even thinking that? They wanted to get the hell out of Indianapolis with a win and stay ahead of the Cowboys and the Vikings. That's the only thing they wanted to do coming out of that. Had nothing to do with Frank. But yet the coach had to make it about him. He made it about him. Dumb. Bro, if you got some shit like that, that's something personal, talk to your teammates inside. Talk to your players inside the locker room privately. That's a private conversation. Guys, this game means a lot to me. And you have closed doors on it. Hey, this means a lot because, Frank helped me get the job in Philly, and it means a lot to me. You know exactly what I'm talking about here. Playoffs, as Jim Moore would say, speaking of Colts. The playoff picture right now. What a great quarterback we watched last night. Justin Herbert looked great too. Chiefs have the bye as of right now here on November 21st, Thanksgiving week. Chiefs have the bye. Get this. The Dolphins are in the 2-hole. There's the Titans again, sitting in the 3-hole. Ravens are 4. Bills 5. Patriots 6. Bengals 7. Here would be if the playoffs started today. Bengals Dolphins. Patriots Titans. Ravens Bills. Wow. NFC. Eagles get the bye. Vikings in the 2-hole still. Seahawks 3. Bucks 4. Cowboys 5. Giants 6. 49ers 7. Your opening round NFC playoffs would be with the Eagles having home field advantage. Vikings 49ers. Poof. 49ers wax that team. Seahawks Giants. Probably take the Seahawks in that game. Bucks and Cowboys. That'd be a great game. And the winner of that game would take on the Eagles. How you doing? Woo! You get Brady again? Yeah, you put that Colts performance up there. I could promise you. Hey, Dan, if football is week to week, league are Cowboys getting overhyped and Eagles supposedly getting lucky with the Colts. The Phillies ace. Now you're asking me a legitimate question now. The Cowboys are always overhyped. And I never said that the Colts were lucky or the Eagles were lucky. They won because they're better players. And you have a quarterback who's level-headed, unlike your coach. I mean, you're just more talented. You're more talented than the Texans. You're more talented than the Washington Commanders. You're beating teams with talent right now, not scheme. You think that offensive scheme that you put out there, how about letting Nick Sirianni's emotions get the best of him in coaching? How come nobody in your city, in your fine city, will say the truth? Nick Sirianni let his emotions get the best of him in his coaching decisions on Sunday, and it showed, and it sucked. You know why? Because they want a key to the NovaCare Center or a fob to get in. Pathetic. Saints won. I know that sucks. I would love a rematch with the Bucs. Well, you just might get your wish. Yale, the offense was, but Yale, I'm gonna make sure that I keep emphasizing this. That was a step forward for Jalen Hurts. That was a step forward. Nothing was going right. Everything, fumbles, the coaches being too emotional. Nick Sirianni was too emotional as a head football coach in that game on Sunday, and Jeff Saturday, for 58 minutes, completely outcoached him. And it was Jalen who called that play at the end and called his own number to get that ball in the end zone. Jalen took the football in his own hands at the end when he started taking off running. You saw it like I did too. They weren't doing anything spectacular. He won that game. They know he won that game. That may have been Hurts' best performance. They needed him the most. After a bye, I was impressed with him. That's the most I've been impressed with Jalen Hurts all year. Even more so than the Viking game. Way more impressed. Because it was complete leadership. Complete doing whatever he needed to. Sacrificing, running. Didn't care what he had to do. He did everything right. Called his own number. The coaches were in their own way on Sunday. Why am I the only one that sees this? The coaches, look at how unraveled Sirianni was after the game. He's bawling and screaming in the stands. And your quarterback was the only guy with a level head on his shoulder, and he called the plays basically at the end of that drive that they needed to get a game-winning drive. They couldn't kick a field goal. They had to get a touchdown, and he did it. The coach was all over the place. His staff was unraveled. Jalen, dude, it was clearly a step forward as a guy that will do whatever it's going to take to win a ball game. I'm going to say it again, man. That's as impressive as a win you can get. And Sills, because the coaches didn't prepare the team good enough. Jalen went out and did that shit. Dude, you got to give that kid a lot of love here, man. That's why Sal Powell called him Coach Jalen Hurts. Dude, that coaching staff was useless for the Eagles offensively. We'll get to defense here in a minute. They were useless on Sunday. Shane Steichen called the worst game since he's been the play caller. And by the way, some of you are going like that. Yeah, you know why? I'm down on the coaching. I'm not down on them. I'm not down on the players. Have you heard me criticize the players? I'm not down on it. Did you hear me criticize A.J. Brown for fumbling? No. Did you hear me criticizing Miles Sanders for not getting the ball? No. Did you hear me criticizing anybody of player-wise? Anybody. Give me one player on offense I criticized. I haven't criticized one Philadelphia Eagle player. One. It's the play calling, Shakir. It's the play calling why Smith doesn't have enough catches. It's the play calling. Dude, they're catching up with them. I'm just saying. Shane Steichen, I don't know. That was terrible. I mean, you're talking about the Colts. Are the Colts a good defense? I don't know. Middle of the road? 5-star, but that's the first time I see the offensive coaches suck out loud. Backup plan. The offense play calling was terrible, but they don't drop the ball and don't get the penalties. It could be an entirely different conversation. Agreed. That's kind of, look, man, I'm not criticizing. Look, I think the players, man, they were in a tough ball game because their coaches put them in a tough ball game. I agree with you, Dan. Without our talent alone, we would be bottom feeders. Can Gannon and our coaching get us to the promised land? That's going to be the $20 million question. That's my problem too, man. Those guys are coaching like they've never been in anything. 215, I said the coordinators would cost us before the season ending. That is my – hey, guys, I'm sorry if that's not where my take has landed. I totally apologize. This is not on the players. I'm not ripping the players. I'm going to get, like I said, to the defense here in a minute. I swear to you, man, I'm not ripping the players. That coaching staff sucked offensively. They sucked. Philly goes, you can't change personality. He's being him. Okay. So my quarterback has more poise than my coach. Dude, don't let that Hey, let me ask you guys an honest question. I'm going to lay a scenario out for you. Tell me how you feel. You're in a stretch run. You get to the Super Bowl. Nick Sirianni's with his pencil in his ear like he's Matt Patricia. He's been doing the Lincoln Leap. And Jalen walks over and goes, let's do the Philly special. Okay, let's run it. You think that's the reaction you get out of that coaching staff? in a moment like that, when you watch your coach getting ready to do the wave with the fans? Really? You need poise in moments like that. That was one of the greatest poise moments I have ever seen in Super Bowl freaking history. Dude, every time I talk about it, gives me goosebumps. It gives me goosebumps. Foles just walks over to the side, and he just goes like this. How do you trust a backup quarterback who's outplaying Brady? Let's run the Philly special. Okay, let's run it. I'll never, ever forget that moment in Super Bowl. It's one of the most poignant moments in history. It's one of the greatest moments I've ever seen. Okay, and the head coach going, okay, let's run it. Seals, you're right. Shane, hey, Xander, can you please put up the super chat again? I missed it here. I want to make sure that Seals, you're right. Shane called the terrible game. You got to create nasty plays. You got to change every week. That's what Frank did as an OC in 17. Now you guys are getting it. Hey, listen, once again, if you guys thought I was dumping on the players, I swear to you, I'm not. I'm dumping on that coaching staff. Keep your freaking poise. Come on, can you have a little fun? Yeah, in the locker room. With your guys. Not making a spectacle of yourself. How about this? He probably had all good intentions. Half that stadium probably took it as the opposite. Why even go there? Why put a target on your chest? Because when you start screwing up and things aren't going all hunky-dory for you, then you look like a clown. It's like the turnover chain. You know why Mario asked me, Sills, what do you make of a turnover chain? I said, you should put it in the toilet. He goes, why? If you're going to give the turnover chain, do it in the locker room. Don't do it on the sideline when you're getting beat by 17 points, because then it looks stupid. Or you got a turnover chain when, guess what? You're 5-6. It's stupid. Turnover chain. You do that shit in the locker room. Dude, when did it get to a point in today's society when the NFL or players and coaches can't have the moment in the locker room for themselves? Why does everything have to be so out there like that? And these modern coaches make themselves part of the game so much more. Even Belichick doesn't do. Belichick never makes himself part of the game. Not even Vermeil ever did. Look, the Batman cape with the players. Look, Kelsey, you're not going to get me shitting on him. You're just not. All right. This is, again, what I'm going to say. You got into a position where your head football coach was so emotional in this game. And it was the poise of the quarterback that carried him through. I mean, I'll say it again to you. You almost got out-coached by a guy who was an analyst doing what I do and what Gary Cobb does. And this guy was in a booth, and he was in a studio 2 weeks ago, and you completely almost got out-coached. The defense, I thought, was great. The offense, in my opinion, that was the worst game plan I've seen in a long time. And if it wasn't for Jalen Hurts, you do not win that game. Let's bring in our friend from Fox 29, Gary Cobb. And Gary, I'll tell you what, man. Thank God for Jalen Hurts being on that field, because as emotional as Nick Sirianni was, and I think that got in the way of his 4th and 10 in the third. I'm like, dude, you're on the road. Your offense is sputtering. Get the freaking points. Give the kid, you got one of the best field goal kickers in the league. Yeah. Give him a shot at it here. I don't want to leave the question. Give me your takeaway on what you saw.
Well, I'll tell you this, as players, how many of your buddies do you see get cut? It's part of the job.
And Gary, he got $8 million.
Yeah, come on. Yeah. This guy's not out on the street. I mean, and I understand that you feel for a guy, but you don't let it get in the way of your coaching and get all caught up in that. I mean, come on, man. You know, yeah, I think he's done a pretty good job as a coach and everything, but he's got to get over some of this kid stuff. I mean, he talks to the press too much. He tells things really you shouldn't be telling. Yap. And then all this stuff about Frank Reich. Look, Frank Reich is a grown man. Like you said, he walked away with $8 million. Frank is not sitting somewhere hurting. You know what I mean? And you can't get like that. Come on. There are going to be other things that happen in your private life. Come on. You know, times your parents have passed or something very special to you. But you got to go do your job. We don't want to hear all of that stuff. Frank Reich, come on. How many coaches have been fired? How many coaches have you seen act like that about? Come on. We know somebody mentored you, and they're probably not working anymore. That's part of the game, man.
Gary, I thought he was going to do the Lincoln leap into the stands there, man. I mean,
I know. After he's over there yelling, I mean, come on, stop the Harry High School stuff, man.
You know what? And again, to me, that's internal locker room stuff where you go to your guys, and there's guys in that locker room, Gary, that have an affection for Frank. They played for him in 7th.
Yep.
Dude,
come on. He helped them win a Super Bowl. He helped them win a Super Bowl. So, you know, the guys, look, but how many times, if you're in the NFL, how many guys know guys that got fired? I mean, come on. How many guys in the NFL know guys that got fired? All of us. Come on.
Hey, Gary, and he's crying, and I'm going like, hey, I listen, I get the emotion, and I totally understand it, but your quarterback can't be the guy with the most poise. And I want to go into Jalen.
Yeah.
I tell you, Gary, I thought, in my opinion, he took a step forward.
Yeah.
He did everything that they needed to do. That offense was sputtering, and he took that thing under his wing, and he got that ball in the end zone late in that ball game. And I'll tell you what, I don't know about you, man, but that was an impressive.
Yes, it was.
It was impressive.
It was impressive, and the kids got poise. And I think the other players gleaned from it because offensively, man, that was a horrible game. You know, they just get to where they just want to throw the ball every play. What is that? Hurry up offense where you want to throw the ball every play. What are you doing? I would have a talk with Shane, this offensive coordinator, man. Come on, look. We got these big horses up front. We got to run the ball, man, because, you know, I know you see something there that you can throw the ball and everything, but we still run it because we have to have we got to be able to take part of the game where we're the toughest guys on this field. We can run the ball when we want to. We're going to always let the defense know, look, just so you guys are sure, we run the ball when we want to. We don't care who's over there. And you got to have that because sometimes you got to be able to run the ball. And, you know, I appreciate all of the some of the things they do, but, you know, they got to watch doing too many things.
Is Miles Sanders hurt, Gary?
I don't know that he's hurt. No, he's not hurt. He's
Gary,
not hurt.
I got to listen to my conspiracy theory here.
With all these guys they're putting in, you're right. I mean, what are they doing? I don't get it, man.
Dude, Gainwell versus – why is Gainwell in the game?
I know.
And not Miles Sanders, and I'm going like this. Is it because Howie doesn't want to pay this guy? He's on pace for 4. I mean,
I don't know.
Gary, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy guy, but
that's right.
The guy's having a nice year. Why are you not playing him?
I mean, I don't see it, especially when you want to get your running game going. They decided to run the ball, and then I look up Boston Scott's in the game.
Why?
Look, but you know, I mean, Boston Scott, great guy. But come on, little bitty Boston Scott. Let little Boston Scott keep looking at the game like he's been. I don't know why they put them in there at those times because Miles is the guy who's got some size. Of course, he could faster than any of them, and the running back gets into a rhythm. You want the guy in there that's already in a rhythm, not a guy that's fresh off the bench, has not carried the ball one time. You got him in there at the key part of the game. I don't understand some of the things they're doing. And I want to see them get more balance. Look, Don't get to where you just throw the ball every play. Come on. And of course, they can't be turning the ball over. They had some turnovers that
6 in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, they got to clean that up, man.
How about this, Gary? Do you agree that one of the major assets that Dallas Goedert brought, how many times in those 7 penalties did the tight ends get holding penalties on trying to set the edge?
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, they miss his offensive production, Gary, but him setting the edge on those defensive ends, it was a glaring issue. And Indianapolis doesn't really have really great pass rushers. Yep. They struggled with that on setting the edge, on trying to get the running backs to the outside.
Well, I guess, you could say over and over and over again, Dallas Goedert is underrated, man.
Absolutely.
He's one of the, I think he's the best tight end. I mean, when you talk about complete tight end, he does everything. Yep. He's outstanding at everything. And they clearly miss him because as a blocker, I was telling you, I'm looking at the, replay of the game, and I'm, taking some time to look at everything. I'm seeing they got him going in there blocking the defensive tackle. He's blocking the defensive end one-on-one on a sweep. Then, of course, they're throwing those the different routes to him, and they're throwing screens to him. And they have so much of the offense that features him because he's got unique skills, and they can depend on him a lot of times to beat the guy who's covering him, because there's no linebackers can cover him, and most of the safeties can't cover him because he's got that combination of size and speed. And then after he gets the ball, he's one of their best ball carriers, next to probably somebody like Miles out in the open field. I mean, he's the best when it comes to tight ends carrying the ball after he catches it. So they really do miss him. But I tell you, they got their hands. They got their work cut out for them, because they're not going to have him for, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks or more.
3 more weeks now, and then you don't know what it's going to be for his injury after that.
Yep.
I mean, we're assuming, because that's the IR minimum, is 4 weeks. So
that's right.
We don't know yet.
They're not the same team without him. I'll be honest. They're just not the same team without him. So they've got to wait. They've got to find a way to make up for that. And they're playing some of their most important games are coming up.
Especially against teams like Tennessee that run the rock like that.
That's right.
And they got some good players. Hey, Gary, over on the defensive side, I will say this to you. I was really surprised how well that kid Joseph and Sue played. Yeah, they showed up, and I'll tell you what, they held that team under a C note. A week previous, Jonathan Taylor had 147 yards on 28 carries against the Raiders. Were you surprised how well they played?
I was. I mean, at the same time, they are vets. They know the ropes. And they're the kind of guys who they stay in shape, because these guys knew they were going to play for somebody. It's just a matter of who were they going to play for. And they were waiting because they wanted to play for a playoff team. They wanted to play off, and they got the shot to do that. I mean, they're in a position where they can do that. They made millions and millions. It's not where there's so much as the money. It's the fact that they want to be able to play for a team that's got a chance to win, a Super Bowl, or at least go deep in the playoffs and things. So they can pick their spot, and they're pros, and that's the big thing that I got to give Howie credit, is he doesn't bring guys in here that are not pros. You can bring a guy in that played a long time, but he's got the kind of personality where he's going to be disruptive. They've made it a point. They don't want those guys because they're more headaches, like OBJ, really. He could be a plus, but he could go in and be trouble, man. Depending on, because of the ego, you need guys that could go in there. Maybe because he's gotten older, maybe he will be cool. But wherever you picking up a veteran guy who's got a certain reputation, who's got a name where he's going to be an influence on the younger guys, you got to get a guy that's a team guy, that's not a disruptor. And that's what they've made it a point of doing. And that's why with Joseph and Sue, both of those guys are team-oriented guys, mature. They're not going to be coming up with nonsense. And they show up ready to play. So I guess I'll say I'm surprised, but then again, maybe I'm not. Because
they're 10-plus year guys.
That's right.
Would you agree that this was probably the best game that TJ Edwards has had in the last couple weeks here? Because I thought he showed up and I thought he really played well. And it probably is
because
really
he's clean. He's clean now.
Yeah, because he's clean because of the 2 guys in front of him.
That's right. He's clean. Those guys are going to eat up blocks, and he knows he can scrape, and and they're in there, and there's a comfort with that. So that probably has something to do with it. But he played very well, and they're going to have to play very well because they're going to have some fights coming up, and they're going to have to start playing better though. They got to play better than they did in that game because the teams they're going to play against some better teams, and they want to be going up like this. I mean, you have to look over there at the Cowboys. They had that ugly loss the week before, but they look good. They look good yesterday.
I think right now, Gary, I think they have the best offense between the two teams only because Goddard's out.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason that I would say Dallas right now and Dak's
probably right
himself a little.
Yeah.
That leads me to AJ. Are you concerned? Do you think he's injured or something? Because he's not been very productive the last couple of weeks.
I don't like where he is right now. I mean, it just he's having mishaps. And I think it's just a matter of, getting that ball in his hands early, feed him some. But I think that that just getting too gimmicky. Even though some of it's work, like, the play that they scored on, that's great and everything. But that's gimmicks. You know what I mean? You're tricking people. Then you're going to get in there with somebody you can't trick. Now, you got to still be able to run the ball, see? Because even in that game, there was a fourth down where they do that count inside. They're playing the count game where how many people do they have in the box and all that. Well, they had one of the DBs. He snuck in there. He was in the box. I don't think Jalen didn't see him, and so he handed the ball off, and the guy made the play, and they stopped him on the fourth down. I don't want to. They don't get so gimmicky. You got this big line. I like it when you just mash people off, so you let them know, look, we can do this when we want to. Just let you guys know. When we get ready to, we mash you and we run the ball on you, because they do all of the option things, and it's a lot of it's gimmicky. When somebody does a good job with the angles they take, and they take some things away, I don't want them to get caught and go, oh, what can we do? Look, you got that big line there. Let's use some of that size and get to where we do some double teams and we come off on there. But we always got to be able to enforce our will on the other team, because they're going to need that before the season's out, because you're going to get against teams that are going to take away some of the counts and some of the options that they do.
How about this?
And then I don't want to see Jalen doing too much running.
How about and again, too, and let me expand on that, and I'll get to the question I was going to ask you. 16 carries now. I mean, we're watching what Justin Fields is going through right now. It hurts a shoulder here. I mean, you're playing with fire with this here, because you have no one on that roster that mimics this guy, what he does. And if you don't have a quarterback that can move, and I don't think this guy Gardner Minshew can go in there and do what he does when it comes to using his wheels.
Yeah,
boy, Gary, you've got to get back to figuring out your run game. Why are they getting away from it?
Well, because they're doing the option.
Are they out thinking themselves?
I think I don't like the way they're going. You can do this, where you're doing the count and you got Jalen doing all the option, but you've got a big physical offensive line. Let these guys mash people and run the ball, because I don't want you to get too reliant on Jalen running the ball, because like you said, all it takes is one hit. And I tell you, back in the day,
oh yeah,
the way we played, somebody would take that hit.
Oh no. Hey, you want to take off running?
Hey,
someone's going to get an earful of this thing here, man. Absolutely. Right. That guy's going to pay for that if you take off running. Now, you can't hit these guys like they used to, but I mean,
I'm telling you, all it takes is one hit, and then their season is not the same. One hit. That's why, you celebrate the runs and everything, but I don't like the fact that you want to be so dependent on him as a runner. Now, I don't mind him escaping to throw the ball and everything, but when you just got all these calls for him to run, all it takes is one where he doesn't see somebody. You know, the guy's coming out of the blind side, doesn't see him. Whack, you know.
Gary, there was at least 7 design run plays for him.
I know.
You saw, and you're like, wow, you want to put your MVP candidate? What team puts an MVP candidate in harm's way like that? I mean, and then get this. People will point to Baltimore, and I'll go, well, there's a reason the last 2 years that Lamar Jackson hasn't finished the season is because they have put his ass in harm's way.
Yeah.
These guys are close to winning this thing. Here, let me get over to this with Darius Slay. Gary, can it be that we're seeing a little of attrition wearing him out a little bit because he's getting beat more regularly in games than what I've seen? Is that a possibility? We're just seeing him because, again, if you're not getting any pass rush and you're being asked to make plays in the run game, which corners don't really like to hit anybody, like know. I mean, is that kind of what we're seeing here a little bit, that the defense is getting worn out a bit?
I think so, and they are making their corners tackle. And, Slay can say what he wants. I mean, he's a great corner and everything. But you can see he's not crazy about tackling. Now, he'll go in there and tackle some, but that's not his favorite thing. So they're making the safeties tackle, and they're doing it on the other side, the Bradbury too. But that's what they're doing around the league. They will go ahead and crack and make the corner have to play rather than letting the safety make the tackle, because they know safeties will tackle more than corners. They make the corner have to make the tackle. A lot of times, because the corner is not eager to make the tackle, he's going to give up yardage, especially if you got a good back that you're handing the ball off to. So teams do that. But this is going to be an interesting time for this team because they got to play better. They've gotten sloppy. They're turning the ball over. You're not seeing the offense really is the thing. I think you said it, which is they just did not play well. If the defense hadn't played as well as they did, meaning like you had the turnovers and they were able to keep them out of the end zone, they would have lost that game. So they got to come out. They got to get sharper. And the thing is, you want the consistency, things you can always go to, the way you can move that ball. And that's why I would like to see them, let's go to some using our size and our physicality on the line rather than getting too gimmicky with all of the options, And I don't want to be dependent on Jalen to be running the ball too much. Come on, you're playing with fire. And, if he goes down, then the party's over, man.
Yeah, there ain't no Nick Foles. There ain't no Nick Foles behind him. But Gary, I got to do this. I'm getting very emotional over this interview here, and I just want you to know that I did this interview for you, and I want you to know how much I love you, and it's very, very, very emotional.
Well, here. And I wanted to tell also that one of my buddies got cut.
Hey, wait a minute, Gary. Watch this. Hey, can I take a look at that guy's shoes? Let me tell you what we do as players. Hey, let me look at those pads.
That's right. That's right. Where's his stuff at?
Where's his stuff at? Hey, did he leave any knee pads over there? No, you can keep the jock. I just want to see the knee pads.
That's right.
Oh my God. Woo! My friend got cut. Can I have the shoulder pads? I really love them. Those Bonzies are good, dog. Hey,
hey.
Dude,
my man Nick.
Gary, I thought he was going to do the Lincoln Leap.
That's right. Hey, Nick, man, go get you some tissues and get over it.
Okay. My buddy got cut. Hey, now you know how it feels, homie. Hey, that's man, right. Gary, thank you so much, my friend.
All right, have a good one.
You got it, Gary Cobb, right. Fox 29. Yeah, it's very emotional. Please hit the like button. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Since 1977 at Rafferty Subaru, we have always been about our customers and the community. Early on, a safe and durable option, we've evolved to become the best overall brand according to Kelley Blue Book. Over the last 14 years, we've donated thousands of dollars through the Subaru Share the Love event and found homes for hundreds of pets. The Rafferty family is proud of our 45 years in business. This month, celebrate our anniversary with special financing on select models. Visit us and see why.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer 3 major services, the first one being basement waterproofing, the second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs, and then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Excuse me, it's a very emotional day here today. Eagles beat the 4-6-1 Colts. I mean, I must have shed more tears today than I have in the last 30 years. Man, a lot of emotions today. I have to keep myself in check. We'll reset everything at the top. Also, to take a look at Week 11 of the NFL. Man, emotional. Even Gary saw it too. Guys get cut every day. Our best friends get cut. Think about that. Think about what Gary Cobb just said. Players lose friends every day on rosters in the NFL. We don't get any of that. We got to get out there and play on Sunday. So the coach sits around here and he's bawling. Hey, you know how many times you lose friends through this whole process every year? Guy gets cut, guys get waived. Guy gets traded. Shit happens. You got to go play. You know, dude. It's like this guy's never been in the NFL. Nate, it was pathetic. Yeah, but hang on for a second, Nate. I want to make sure I can continue. I don't know if I can. I'm doing my best. We're going to reset, like I said, top of the hour, Week 11 of the NFL. Whew. It's okay, man. I mean, thank God Jalen Hurts is a pro, unlike your coach. So you're not happy unless he comports to your expectations? I just want him to act like a CEO or a coach instead of a cheerleader. I'm not asking him to do anything that the 31 other guys aren't doing. No, I just want him to be like the other 31 guys. Like Mike, how about this? Who would you rather be coached by, Mike Tomlin or Nick Sirianni? Yeah, I could just see Mike Tomlin doing the wave. You see Mike Tomlin, right, doing the Lincoln leap, doing the Sirianni swan dive. Can you see Mike Tomlin screaming at fans and shit? Holy cow, man. You see Tomlin doing that? Man. Mike would go like this. Get away from me. You see Mike Tomlin act like that? You know, I lost a friend. Dude. Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin don't play like that, man. Holy cow. Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin, Nick Sirianni. I mean, I don't know. Seems to be a little different. Be comfortable in your skin. Dude, yeah, be comfortable in your skin. Why can't you do that shit in your locker room with your players in a private moment? Why does it have to be public out there like that? Nobody gives a shit about Frank Reich. Frank Reich is leaving Indianapolis with $8 million in his pocket. His payout, he got another year of $8 million plus this year, $8 million. This guy's leaving that building with like $17, $18 million. And you're crying for him? I don't know what to say. Mitchell goes like this. Who cares, Sills? Well, I'll tell you who cares. That shitty game plan that those coaches put together on Sunday was a direct result of the emotions that they had all week long with it. It trickled down into their preparation and their in-game decision-making. 4th and 10, third, you're losing. You're down 10. And there was no way you were getting that. Jalen said, shit, screw the play calling. I've got to take this game over. Yeah, you're right. No one cares. It showed. Would we not agree that's the worst offensive preparation? Now that I know how emotional and the guy was brought to bawling and tears and jumping in the stands and screaming at people and him and Coach Roseman there and all that, now I know how important it was to him and not just the fact that they needed a win coming off a loss. All of that got in the way of preparation. You saw it. It was the worst game plan offensively of the year. And by the way, one more time, I'm not ripping the players. They put them in shitty positions. 4th and 10 on the road with a stalled offense. Yeah, okay. Well, I thought maybe I'd motivate them. Well, it wasn't that Lambeau leap of yours. Oh, man. Jalen Hurts, good for you, man. You have more poise than that young-ass coach of yours. Dude, I mean, you were the catalyst in that whole thing. It's crazy how big that game was for Nick. And he gives us that. Who gives a shit? It's big for the players. They got to play. Don't get in the way of them. Get out of the way. That's why the problem that I have with Coach Roseman and Sirianni making it about them and not the players getting that win. That was my problem. And then everyone's tooting their horn and going around like you're talking about the Peyton Manning Colts. The team is limited. They're not good. They're not good. But basically for Nick, we have our worst called game. Okay, so 17. Your worst called game was because you were too emotional in your preparation. Is that going to happen again for the Cowboy game? Is that going to happen in a critical moment? Like I laid this out for you. Doug Peterson, Nick Foles, it's in the Super Bowl. Let's run the Philly special. Let's do it. Ain't no panicking. Ain't no rah-rah. Ain't no crying. Ain't no Lincoln Leap. All right, let's do it. That just breeds confidence. What I saw does not breed confidence. Crying after games, screaming at fans, and Coach Roseman and these guys making it about them. Who are they, man? The players went out there and played their asses off, and as hard as they could, defensively, they were great. They were great. Tell you this, those 2 tackles came in, and you know what they did? They didn't give a shit about Frank Reich. They didn't give a shit. They knew that they were hired guns. They were brought in to go to the OK Corral and kill people. They were brought in to shoot people because they needed them to stop the run. They were hired gun. And they came in and they did what exactly they were. You know, it's like the cowboy hat and the long trench coat. And these guys are walking in with their guns on their waist going, we're here. And they did it. I was impressed. I won't lie, man. I'm watching these guys. I couldn't believe they start. Hey, am I right? Hey, am I right? Did they start Linville? They started him, right? I was stunned. These guys are eating Cheetos last week. They're eating Cheetos. And they get out there. They take their coats off. They got their guns. They walk over to, the OK Corral. And they guys came in town like they were Wyatt Earp, man. Right? Yeah, Xander goes, Sills, that's you with the Cheetos. Those guys clearly weren't eating Cheetos. They weren't, man. Those guys walked in there, man, with 6 shooters on, man, up to the OK Corral, and they went like this. Wyatt Earp's here. And they stopped that run, man. I was really, really Nick Sirianni pole vaulter. I thought, hey, man, if he had a pole vault, he would have went in the stands. Dude, and by the way, when they had them 2 guys in there, man, did you see some of the looks on the offensive line guys for the Colts? Did you see? I think one of the Colt guys got bent over. And I think Sapp texts me. He goes, hey, I'm watching this thing. Do you see that guy? You see that guy, Joseph, bend that guy over? And I went, dude, there's no doubt that guy's hurt today. One of them Colt players, I think the center or the guard got bent over. Sue, was it? Dude, somebody bent that guy over, man, and I guarantee you he is in traction right now. Wow. Dude, Fletcher Cox I think those guys played even more downs than what he did. Fletcher Cox is gassed. Hey, guys, bro, this is something I want to say, and I want to make sure I say it again, okay? Fletcher is a great player, but I told you he didn't deserve to be on this football team at the start of the season. And all you guys telling me, Fletcher showed up, look at himself. I'm like, that guy's not good enough to be here anymore. He's not. He's not good enough to be here. Fletcher's a great Philadelphia Eagle. Great. Not good. Great. Okay? He has to be a backup. But Howie can't justify the $14 million to Jeffrey if you're bringing that dude off the bench. But he should. Then again, Jordan Davis. And you know what, too? Is it me? Is it me? Or does it seem that Fletcher's out of shape? Doesn't it seem he's out of shape? Fletcher Cox, Hall of Fame player, he'll be debated, Joseph. He'll be debated for it. He'll be. I don't really think he has the sack numbers, but he'll be rated for it. Fletcher Cox is going to show up. I think he will. He hasn't for 2 months. Too many Twinkies. Nothing wrong with Twinkies, my friend. Nothing wrong with Twinkies. Okay? Someone goes, Sills. Philly goes like this. Reds 215. Sills, screw that. Now you don't like Nick. I don't like Nick's gimmick. Coaches shouldn't have gimmicks. I mean, just because he doesn't act like, no, stop acting like a cheerleader. Screaming at the fans. Dude, I get the one time in Arizona. I totally got that. A shitload of Eagle fans and all that. Yeah, guys. I mean, then, see, get this. If he didn't get to the podium and say that stuff and bawl into tears about Frank Reich, I don't think that would have been a big issue. But he made it about him. That game was about him. Gave him the game ball. Because he cried? Wow. He gave me game ball because he cried and his buddy was fired. And his buddy's walking out with $8 million. You should like Sirianni's Italian. That's the conflicting thing about this, my friend. I do love Skittles. I do. Yeah, Bill Walsh. Can you see Bill jumping in the stands? My dick over. Oh, my God. Hey, you know what? Pete Carroll's the most emotional coach we have in the league. Pete, there's Nick, man. Hey, what a great win. It was congratulations. They beat Johnny Unitas's Colts team. The high tops and everything, man. What a great win. It was as big as the 58 championship win. Couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what I saw. I mean, that team that they beat, unbelievable. Week 11, hang on. Very emotional. Week 11, NFL, we're going to hit on it. We'll reset. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
Don't wait until after Thanksgiving for leftovers. It's the new leftover sales event at Jeff D'Ambrosio Destination Downingtown. Jeff must get rid of hundreds of new 2022 vehicles on the lot. Rams, Grand Cherokees, Wranglers. Jeff has them all for less. Jeff has reduced prices and payments to the lowest they've been all year. And Jeff knocks down high interest rates. Save thousands, more than anywhere else. Plus, get more for any trade or lease return. You always win at Jeff's. Great selection, best price. Hurry in now. Jeff D'Ambrosio Destination Downingtown. Nobody treats you better. Black Friday sales event.
At Pond Lehocky, we've recovered billions of dollars for our clients, and we're confident we can do the same for you. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured clients obtain some of the largest settlements in Pennsylvania. One conversation is all it takes to help you and your family get back on track. If you've been injured in an accident, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Go for the beers, go for the cheers, go for the hit and the hits, go for the scene, go for the screens, go for the gallery, go for the win, go to Ocean.
At Salus University, our graduates are among the most highly trained in their profession because of our unique emphasis on research, interprofessional collaboration, and early clinical exposure. Learn more about our programs at salus.edu.
I'm going to tell you a little secret here about something here. Big Sales National Football Show. Please hit the like button. Last week, I've been dealing with COVID. I don't tell people that shit to make you feel sorry for me. What's that got to do with anything? What's that got to do with anything? Except for being professional and being a pro. I don't want your sympathy. Give a shit about that. It's about being a pro. People have to go to work. They live their lives every day. Shit happens to people. Okay? I still have it to hold me down. And I don't care if I have 102 temperature. I never look for sympathy or like to make something about me. Like ever. It's about winning. Good grief. You know, I got COVID. Jesus Christ. All right. Week 11 of the NFL. We'll get to that here in a minute. Hey, Yale, sorry to hear that, man. Okay, here we go. Let's reset before we get into week 11 here of the NFL. Some of the takeaways from the game instead of the sideshow that we saw. Tear jerking and all that. As my grandfather would call it, tear jerking. Yeah, the sidebar story, we'll put that aside. Horrible game plan. Worst first half of football offensively for the Eagles all year long. The emotions of Frank Reich being fired, I guess, were the reason that the offensive coaches were pathetic and were outcoached by Jeff Saturday. What other reason would it be? So you're telling me Dallas Goedert not being on the field, you're not good enough to come up with all their alternatives on how to get the ball in the hands? By the way, what's up with Miles Sanders? Howie playing his dumb games again? Why wouldn't you hurt your football team when you don't put the ball in his hands? Kenneth Gainwell, you're fired. If this was The Apprentice, you're fired. You're fired. I mean, he doesn't belong ahead of. Why is Kenneth Gainwell out there in critical situations and Miles Sanders isn't? Sounds like Howie games. You know how some of you say Howie vision? This is Howie games. Yeah, you can't have Miles Sanders go out there and have a 1,400-yard season or a 1,300-yard season and just let a guy like that walk out the building. How would that make Howie look? Not good, like he was standing at the doorway waiting for all of his players and his coaches to come into the doorway. I thought he was the owner of the team. Well, all of that affected the game plan. I can't believe the defensive guys actually had the better game. That's the first time that the defense outperformed the offensive guys maybe in a year and a half. 4th and 10 in the third. Sputtering offense, and Mr. Tearjerkers goes for it on 4th and 10. How dumb on the road, and you're behind 10. Get the points, dog. Your team's sputtering. Well, I wanted to give him. No, you didn't. You panicked. Other side, Jonathan Gannon's guys showed up. They played well. We'll get to the numbers again here. They played well. Linval Joseph and Adama Kitsu were great. Not good. They were great. Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts delivered. He was spectacular. Jalen Hurts took 10 steps forward on leadership, in my opinion, and how he handled himself late in that ball game. I couldn't have been more happier for the kid. All the dumb shit that was going on the sidelines and all the emotional stuff that was going through the coaches affected it. Shit, the last play that he ran into the end zone, he called that. They didn't call it. That was Jalen Hurts' first come from behind victory in the fourth, too, by the way, as a starting quarterback in the NFL. Down 10, he comes back and he wins it. Kudos. He is a clear number 2 in the MVP race. I think right now, somebody could probably jump up on him because they'll put bigger numbers up than he will this year. And the MVP award, not that I don't think Jalen is worthy of it, but you know this, the MVP award is a statistical award. And they don't look at Jalen Hurts' statistics. And they won't. By the end of the time, Jalen will probably finish third, somewhere in there. I'm hoping second, but probably third when everything is said and done. If he loses 2 more games, he'll be out of the top 5. So it's Mahomes and it's Jalen and then everyone else kind of. You know, it's a hodgepodge of guys. The secondary, Darius Slay must be hurt because he the last couple of weeks, marginal dudes are beating him. Marginal dudes. The lack of not having Dallas Goedert on that field was a clear issue. Xander's right. Tagovailoa's got to be in the conversation too. Right now, can you believe it? The Dolphins are in the 2-hole in the AFC. That's insane. And that's awesome. Okay? Slay's getting beat consistently now. You know, from where he was. Can I tell you why? I think it's because they've been asking these secondary guys to make a lot of run plays in the run game, and I think it's wearing them out. And I think you're starting to see that attrition play a factor there. Okay? I got to say this too. You know, we mentioned this in the first hour. Dallas Goedert not being on the field, without a doubt, one of the major issues is in the blocking game. You guys had 7 penalties. 4 of them were holding penalties by the tight ends and trying to set the perimeter. I mean, Lane Johnson even had one. I mean, they couldn't set the perimeter. And the Colts are very marginal when it comes to defensive linemen. The guy Brunson in the middle is a really good player, but the rest of them guys, plus half their team was out. And there is no doubt he was a major issue not being out there. Now, so it affected your run game so much so, and your passing game. It was very, very average. How about this? Jalen wasn't average. Everyone else was. That whole offense was average. Your quarterback was exceptional. And what I say that is, you know, look, Patrick Mahomes, we're going to talk about what did he put up? Here, you know what, guys? I'm going to show you something where I'm going to go like this to you guys, and I'm going to probably fall on your side of the aisle here when it comes to Jalen Hurts. Patrick Mahomes, last night against the Chargers, 20 of 34, 352, and 3 touchdowns, right? Who's more valuable to his team? Dude, Mahomes has Kelsey. Okay? He has Kelsey. Rest of them guys, Jalen's got AJ, I think. You take Jalen Hurts off that team, they lose the Cardinal game. They may lose the Lion game. You would have lost the Colts game. You'd have 4 losses. You'd have 4 losses if Hurts isn't the quarterback. 4. Quez Watkins, 12 catches. Why suit him up? 12 catches in 10 weeks? This guy's averaging a catch a game. Hey, pretty productive. Got to figure out that game plan was. I don't even know if it was. It was like they just showed up and thought they were going to win. And by the way, I'm not taking shots at any of the players. It's the whole thing was just. It just seemed not prepared. That they were more concerned about other things than preparing for the Colts. Because I told you this on Xander. I know you guys remember me saying this. We're going to know if this is going to be a competitive football game after the first quarter. And when they went down the field, I said this game's going to be 50. This is going to be 55, 60-minute ball game. It turned out to be a 59-minute ball game. Fly, we're doing the missing in action tomorrow. That's the milk carton, guys. That'll be tomorrow. Way to go, man. Way to go to Jalen Hurts. Seriously, way to go to Jalen Hurts. Green Bay's up next. What Green Bay team you get yet to be determined. And that's the point here. And I like what Stubbs says. The biggest weakness on the football team right now, barring injury conversation, is your coaches. I have no faith in them. Okay? I have no faith in them. Especially the guy that's the head coach, Willy Wonka. I don't have no, like, I mean, this guy's like a kid. Willy Wonka's your head coach. This, I mean, your coaching staff is unpredictable. And by the way, dude, how about some adjustments? Your quarterback on the field was doing things on the fly. Dude, that's going to cost these guys, man. And believe it or not, Gannon had the better day than any. And Gannon's the worst coach in the building, and he had the better day. He had the better day. I thought Nick was going to pull out of his pocket an everlasting gobstopper. I did, right? Nick pulls out an everlasting gobstopper and puts it in his mouth and starts talking shit. I don't know, man. Holy cow. Yeah. I have no respect for that stuff. I have no respect for myself when it comes to that. None of that, man. Can you imagine Norman Schwarzkopf? Before he jumped into a foxhole, he starts crying. Well, we lost a couple good guys, at the academy. They were sent to shipping and handling, and they're no longer like captains. They demoted them. Yeah, they now work in like shipping and cargo. Dude, keep that. And you know what, too? The reason I'm making a big deal out of it, it's not so much the look. It's the game planning. And your in-game adjustment. When does that rear its head again that you're so emotional that it affects you when it comes to crucial situations like the Philly special? Like a fourth down critical moment in a game. You're thinking too emotionally. This guy's he's not he doesn't have coolness to himself. Great leaders, great coaches think under pressure. Keep your guys thinking under pressure. Be calm. You know, the greatest coaches that you're ever around. I'm so fortunate to have been around guys like Coach Landry and Jimmy and some of the great coaches that I've been around. And all of these guys will sit there in the middle of a game and they'll just look at you and you know what they'll say to you? Relax. It's all good. It's all good. There's 60 minutes of this thing. Relax. Larry goes 9-1. Yeah, 9-1. Congratulations. You beat a shitty Colts team. Take a victory lap, my friend. Way to pull that out. Alexander the Great was emotional. Yeah, the only difference is he fucking killed people. You're overthinking the Nick thing? Why would I overthink it when I saw it on display with the play calling? I don't, the stuff on the side is stupid and gimmicky. I'm talking about the game itself. He was all over the place. So was the coaching staff. If Nick didn't tell us how emotional he was, I probably wouldn't have put the two together, but now it's easy. Horrible game plan. Horrible situational play calling. 4th and 10. I mean, the whole thing was a train wreck. And we beat the Colts. Congratulations. You beat a horrible team. And now you get the Packers. I'm sure there'll be a lot of tears there too. Let me guess. Nick lost an assistant to Matt LaFleur. I'm sure there'll be some tears there too. Oh boy. I don't know. Even Gary, players get cut every day. Can't get any dumber than what I saw, man. The Lincoln Leap. I can't wait to see that. Pretty soon, man, the Lincoln Leap's coming. Comes the Lincoln Leap. 4th and 10. Hey, formally, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Guy, keep your poise. Jalen did. Keep your poise. Yeah, Alexander the Great and Nick Sirianni. Unless it's a sandwich, I wouldn't ever compare them to. Sure hope the coaches pull their head out of their ass. Grampy, you know what? Don't worry, you got Jalen. You got Jalen Hurts, man. That's right, Yale. Steichen's got to go, hey, coach, 4th and 10, let's kick the field goal. You got one of the best field goal kickers in the National Football League, and he can make – I'd rather give him the shot than that 4th and 10. And give a short field. By the way, hey, I'll give you this. You guys got jobbed in that Dallas Goedert the week previous face mask, and it hurt the kid. But if the referees called that face mask on Matt Ryan, game's over. You lose. You lose that game. You're going to lose it. That right there could have been the whole sequence of the game being over. Agreed, man. Yeah, I mean, supposedly the cup gets filled, whether it's by the end of the year, it gets filled, right? Slow, fast, still gets filled. That was like, holy cow, man. All right, let's look at week 11 of the NFL. Let's get into that. Some of these, a lot of these games have a direct or small indirect hit towards the Eagles and where they are now. So let's take a look at this. Falcons beat the Bears 27-24. Justin Fields, sore shoulder. Let me guess why. Not so much 14-21 for 153 and the touchdown. How about the 18 carries for 85? Shoulders hurt. Of course it is. Falcons are now 5-6 on the season. Buccaneers are in a bye, by the way. Bills beat the Browns. Chaotic whole scene. The snow storm that went through Buffalo. They had to play this game at Ford Field in Detroit. 31-23. Bills are now 7-3 on the season. Patriots, they beat the Jets 10-3. You see how this game ended? Personally, I think that was a block in the back. That last guy who hit the punter at the end, I think it was a block in the back. Mac Jones, 23 of 27, 246. Patriots are now 6-4 on the season. How about this, man? Patriots now beating the Jets 14 games in a row. 14 games in a row. Wow. Horrible news for the Eagles. Saints beat the Rams. Have you, hey guys, can you do me a favor? Can you remember the last time that a Super Bowl champion was this god-awful and a defending champion? I mean, the Saints beat the Rams 27-20. Andy Dalton, 21 of 25 for 260. Can you remember a defending Super Bowl champion being this bad? Formerly, they were fantastic, Sue. They were fantastic, Sue and Joseph, fantastic. Highlight of the game for the Eagles. Totally a highlight of the game. Those guys were great. The Lions, they beat the Giants. Helps the Eagles. Now you have a couple more game lead here. They crushed them too. 31-18. 4-6 now are the Lions. Let me ask you guys something here. If you're the Lions and you see how well Jared Goff is playing, would you draft a quarterback in the draft? There's a chance that this team could do what you guys did a year ago, get kind of around 500. Would you go and get? Actually, yeah, I think he's kind of looked decent pretty much the whole year. Would you do that? I mean, Goff has done this. You know what Goff's done? He's made you pause. Do we need a quarterback? He's winning some games, man. The Rams were overrated coming into this year. I said the same thing, man. Note, I played golf till I find his replacement. Matthew Stafford's arm is shot. Holy cow. That guy had one more year left, and it looks it. Man, I give him one more season, and if he comes back and plays like that, the Rams are going to be in the market for another quarterback. Would you sign Brady? Would you bring Brady into Los Angeles? Be perfect for him, wouldn't it? Allen Robinson has been the worst sign for this past offseason. He has been a no-show. He's been terrible. Is Stafford's wife having health issues again? That I don't know. It would be unfortunate. I think she had like a brain tumor or something years ago when she was in Detroit. Ravens beat the Panthers. Wow, what an ugly one. 13-3. Lamar Jackson, 24-33, 209, one touchdown. Ravens, 13-3. Baker Mayfield, holy cow, has he been designated now for scrub work? He is a scrub. That guy is an out-and-out scrub. I mean it, man. He's a scrub. Commanders are now 6-5 on the freaking season. 23-10. They beat the worst franchise in the NFL in the Texans. Tyler Heineke is 15 of 27 and 191. Okay? Huh. OBJ to the Eagles? Let me get back to that. Howie's making calls. What? Let me finish this up. Raiders beat the Browns in OT 22-16. You know they're talking to trading Derek Carr. 23 of 37, 3 touchdowns. No, 307 and 2 touchdowns. Cowboys annihilate the Minnesota Vikings. 40-3. Dak. 22 of 25. 276 and 2 touchdowns. Wow. Bengals hold off Pittsburgh 37-30 since he's now 6-4. 24-39, 355 was Joe Burrow with 4 touchdowns. There you go. That's a quarterback right there. Kansas City last night coming back from behind to beat the Chargers. That was just absolutely fantastic. Okay. He was great last night. Patrick Mahomes. What do you think about OBJ being contacted by the Eagles? Now, look, before anybody starts going crazy, that doesn't mean they're going to sign him. But Howie wouldn't be doing his job if he didn't ask, hey, what's up, man? Because, again, you know what sometimes people do? They try to get a sense to stay ahead of the curve on what some of the teams inside the division or in the conference are going to do. Let's say the Cowboys sign him before the Eagle game. Okay, what do the Eagles do? I mean, how do they combat that? Okay, what if the Buccaneers sign him? Now you have OBJ in the conference. And if the Cowboys sign him, now you have him inside the division. Some of you would go like this. Well, he doesn't really frighten. Well, he should. Because OBJ is not going to be the number 1 or number 2 guy in Dallas. He'll be the number 3 guy. Tops be a number 2. And OBJ, when he was the number 2, number 3 guy in Los Angeles last year, he was a factor. Now, how healthy is he going to be will be an issue. Okay? How healthy? I want to make a call here. So I want to take a timeout, Xander. Do me a favor. Please hit the like button because it looks like they have contacted him. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
Don't wait until after Thanksgiving for leftovers. It's the new leftover sales event at Jeff D'Ambrosio Destination Downingtown. Jeff must get rid of hundreds of new 2022 vehicles on the lot. Rams, Grand Cherokees, Wranglers. Jeff has them all for less. Jeff has reduced prices and payments to the lowest they've been all year. And Jeff knocks down high interest rates. Save thousands more than anywhere else. Plus, get more for any trade or lease return. You always win at Jeff's. Great selection, best price. Hurry in now. Jeff D'Ambrosio Destination Downingtown. Nobody treats you better. Black Friday sales event.
At Pond Lehocky, we've recovered billions of dollars for our clients, and we're confident we can do the same for you. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured clients obtain some of the largest settlements in Pennsylvania. One conversation is all it takes to help you and your family get back on track. If you've been injured in an accident, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean.
At Salus University, our graduates are among the most highly trained in their profession because of our unique emphasis on research, interprofessional collaboration, and early clinical exposure. Learn more about our programs at salus.edu.
According to Stephen Jones, sounds like there is a gigantic market for Odell Beckham right now. Cowboys are probably in the lead for this. For whatever strange reason, Odell Beckham has conversations going on with the New York Giants again. So I don't get the Giant one. Daniel Jones is not going to help Odell Beckham. Now, New York, remember, he's a social media guy, and he is a gigantic presence on social media. So I don't know. New York, is he looking for his brand? The Buccaneers are in it, and also Miami's in it. There are a lot of football teams. And the Eagles have contacted Odell Beckham's people. Now, that doesn't mean, once again, how he calls everybody. You know, I was talking, and I mentioned this last week to you guys. Steve Keim, the general manager of the Arizona Cardinals, told me, and I got a sense before I even started talking sports in Philadelphia, in the Philadelphia area, centric around it. It's kind of what the show is now. Steve Keim told me and gave me the layout of Howie Roseman before I even figured it out. He goes, Dan, Howie Roseman is a guy that does this. He calls on everybody. He called for Patrick Peterson. I tweeted out that Patrick Peterson and the Eagles are in conversation about potentially making a trade because they were. Now, it didn't come to fruition, but Steve goes, that's okay because he gets into bidding with everyone. He'll put something out there, and if he thinks he can get a deal on it, he'll get the deal and he'll make the move on the deal. You know, it's funny. You know that book that Trump had, Art of the Deal? That's who Howie is. He's like the Donald Trump version of that. He's always looking for a deal that benefits the Philadelphia Eagles, which is a good way to move in how you're doing it. By the way, it also keeps an eye on the division. You know, now he knows the Giants and the Cowboys are in a conversation. Now here, let me ask you this. Now that you know that you're going to have Dallas Goedert out at least 3 weeks minimum, and that you struggled in getting the ball to some of your skilled players, either AJ still hurt, what have you. Devontae's been a non-factor the last 6 weeks. And what blows my mind, though, is where's Miles Sanders in this? So, do you need another playmaker? Because you don't have one right now. Last 2 weeks, where's A.J. Brown been? Now, does A.J. Brown come back strong against the Packers? Probably. He's had a great year. Okay? He's had a great year. I'm okay. We are battling through right now. But to beat Tampa, Dallas, and San Francisco in the playoffs, ultimately Kansas City, Miami, or Buffalo in the Super Bowl, we will need another offensive weapon. Music. Great take. Absolutely great take. Forte goes, Goddard will be back for the playoffs, right? Yes. I'd like a power back too. Yeah, but man, I mean, what has Sanders done to get demoted? Doesn't it feel like he's been demoted? How can you have Kenneth Gainwell out there in critical situations and not Dallas Goedert? Yeah, but Yale, I don't think Sanders on the milk carton is by his doing. Sanders, if healthy, needs to get the ball more. We need to run miles. I think the staff is afraid to commit. Hey, Cody, I think it completely – Cody, Cody, would this be fair to say – Xander, I don't know. Everyone, would this be fair to say? Unless we find out that Miles Sanders is injured, this is a business decision that the Eagles are making and not playing him. Howie's got precedent for doing this. Howie's known for doing this, taking reps away, not letting players get to their incentives. This guy's playing with this guy's money. Please, I heard the thing with Darren Sproles. I mean, what is he, 65? I don't want to even go near that. And Melvin Gordon, dude, you talk about a guy who puts the ball on the ground. I have no interest in both those guys. Unless you're talking to me about Darren Sproles joining the coaching staff, I don't want anything to do with that guy in a uniform. Seriously, why don't you get Adrian Peterson out of retirement? I mean, Howie Roseman, dude, I'm going to tweet that out after the show too, at Dan Sileo show. Howie Roseman's making a business decision on Miles Sanders not playing. Unless he's injured, this is a business move. They're taking reps away from the kid. I mean, how many carries did he have? How many carries did he have in the game? Jalen had more carries. Jalen had 16 carries. How many carries in the last 2 weeks has Miles Sanders had? Yale goes like this. Yeah, but how about this, Yale? So you're going to let a guy, if you continue giving him the ball and he gets 1,400 yards, you can let him walk out the building because you don't want to pay him? Doesn't it look a lot better if he's got 900 yards or 800 yards? He's got 24 carries in the last 2 weeks. He's got 24 carries in the last 2 weeks. And you're putting the weight back on your quarterback again because you're sporadic play calling. Draft a running back? I'm not drafting a running back in the first round. 13 carries yesterday. That is by far not enough, especially when you're struggling in the passing game. The more carry, look at what JM says. JM, not that you're wrong. But here's my other end of that. The more carries Sanders gets, the higher the probability he puts it on the turf. The more carries Jalen gets, the higher probability he ends up like Justin Fields or Lamar Jackson, injured. I would rather have a fumble than lose my quarterback. Wouldn't you? The Eagles not interested signing him. Get the most out of him. Right. Run him. Run that horse in every race you can. All the way to the very end. Since Miles isn't going to be here next year anyway, we should give him the ball. Exactly. But see, Howie doesn't like to have bad luck. You can't have that guy have 1,200 yards on the year, and you just let him go because you don't want to pay him. Ray says the offense has been starting games very pass heavy. They want Jalen to get more like Josh Allen, if we're to be honest. And he's not. And that's where they get in trouble. He's not Josh Allen. He protects the ball better than Allen, but he doesn't have the arm talent Josh Allen has. Miles never gets enough touches. That's because they don't believe in a running back in Philly. To me, they need a guy in there like Brian Westbrook. I've said this before to you. Brian Westbrook is probably, during the entire run since 2000, let me think about that. Who is the greatest offensive weapon the Philadelphia Eagles have had in the last 22 years? T.O., Brian Westbrook, Deshaun Jackson, Shady McCoy. I'll take Brian Westbrook. Brian Westbrook, to me, he's Christian McCaffrey, but a guy who's more built to survive the kind of stuff that, remember, he was doing this when the NFL was way more physical. Okay? Westbrook was just special. He's a special football player. Irvin Fryer was in the 2000s. Was he? I thought Fryer was more in the 80s and 90s. Westbrook was like a utility tool. He was like a Swiss Army watch or Swiss Army knife, Cody. You could put him anywhere. Slot, out wide, run him in between the tackles. He was, yeah, but as good as Deshaun Jackson was, not really the greatest wide out. Deep threat, for sure. But Brian is probably your best weapon. We got to get him on again. Oh, man, Westbrook was that dude. I'm such a huge fan of his. Some NFL news. Let me get to this. I'm going to concede this to you guys. You guys are right about Cousins. You guys are right. Kirk Cousins cannot win a big game. Every single freaking time when you just want to give this kid the opportunity to be in the limelight and give him the chance. Can I ask you this too? If you guys watched that Cowboys and Vikings game, why in the world did they get away from Dalvin Cook and throw the ball versus a team that sucks against the run? Why did they do that? They outthought themselves. How dumb could the Minnesota, I don't know what was a worse game plan. The Vikings game plan against the Eagles or the Vikings game plan against the Cowboys. They were both pathetic. You got a running back in Dalvin Cook who could have shredded that Cowboy defense. They completely got away from that. I could not believe what I was watching. Why are you dropping back every down? Use Justin Jefferson as a decoy. You played right into the Cowboys' strength. And there's Micah Parsons again. This guy shows up one week, he doesn't the next week. He shows up. I'll tell you what, there's a guy up in, can somebody help me? There's a guy up in New England who's got 13 sacks on the year, and he's leading the NFL. What's his name? Judah? I forget the kid. What's his name? He's got 13 sacks, and he was a freak show yesterday. Matt Judon, that kid is he's got to be in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. Holy cow, can he play? He's got the most sacks of anybody in the NFL right now. Man, that kid could play. He gets around that's the best pass rusher that they've had up there since Chandler Jones. I mean, he's a baller, man. Holy cow. Judon was a dog since the Ravens. Dude, that kid is something. I cannot believe the Ravens let that guy go. Good grief. He got 13 sacks and how he's a genius. Exactly. That guy. Okay. Sorry, man. Hassan, Mr. 6'1", 238 pounds. This guy's, what's that kid? Your kicker's bigger than Hassan Reddick. Your kicker. Hassan got a big sack, though, yesterday. Got to give it to him. Go get him. Go get him. Hassan doesn't, he's not on the milk carton, I don't think, tomorrow. That kid can play, man. That kid's up for the Defensive Player of the Year award. Just really great stuff, man. They were great. They were absolutely fantastic. That kid in New York, Sauce Gardner, he's going to get consideration for Defensive Player of the Year, too. That kid's good. That kid from Cincinnati is good. He's a good-looking football player. He is a good-looking football player, man. Wow, could Sauce Gardner play? What a shitty way to lose a ball game yesterday for the Jets. So Brian Dable ends up dropping. They got to get a quarterback. I think they'll probably go out and I think they'll probably try to bring in Jimmy Garoppolo. That kid, Sauce Gardner, man, is really a good football player. Hey, you know what, Cody? Cody goes like this. Zach Wilson should be cut. I think he had 77 yards in passing. He was so brutally bad. And then the excuse machine, instead of doing what Jalen would do, you know, what you love about Jalen and guys like Brady, when you win, it's us. When you lose, it's me. Even if it's not true. That's all you want that guy to do. That's all you want that guy to do. He makes, here, I'll make a comparison to you about playing quarterback in the NFL today. When you're a quarterback in the NFL, you're kind of like Roger Goodell. You fall on a sword. The reason you get $50 million is because of this. Well, we really played great today. Line blocked well. Everybody played great. The defense showed up. I mean, hey, it was really fantastic. And when you lose, you're this. Hey, it's on me. I got to play better. It starts with me. This is all about me getting the points on the board. You still want to hear that. You don't want to hear Zach Wilson bitching and moaning. You know what he sounds like? An entitled, spoiled brat. Wasn't me. Yeah, it was. Now, when you say it's not you, I'm going to blame you. I'm going to blame you. Okay? Here. You blame him. You look at a guy like Zach Wilson. This is where Jalen, that game against the Colts showed me so much about who he is. Okay, yeah, man, he's making excuses up for all the bullshit and why they couldn't move the sticks and get yardage. And I mean, everyone knows what's going on there. They got to move off that kid. That kid's not a very good football player. A high draft choice. But you got to remember something. With these new rookie contracts, you get to defer that money out. Move on. Get another guy. Bring somebody in there that can help you win some ball games. Right now, the reason that the Jets don't have a better record is because your quarterback's terrible. I can't believe the Saints traded away CJ for a 5th and 6th. Hey, and right now, I think it's still in the top 5 or maybe out of the top 5. The Eagles have a top 5 pick. Colts kicker makes the effing field goal. Hurts loses 2 in a row. Yes. Or if the face mask is called. if the face mask is called. Absolutely. Jets should go get Nick Foles. I think the Colts should have started Nick Foles. Why wouldn't you start Nick Foles? Matt Ryan? How emotional would that have been for old Nicky? Nick Foles beat him. Nick Foles beating Nick Sirianni. That would have been a great storyline. I would have started him. Matt Ryan. I have no idea why they're not even putting him in there. Oh, and by the way, I think all of this is over Carson Wentz. This whole tear-jerking thing from Sirianni and the reason that Frank was fired and all that, I think it's got everything to do with that Wentz trade and how he got a first-rounder out of it. I totally believe that. That's how that's what this all leads back to. Jeff Saturday said the locker room wanted Matt Ryan. Well, then you can make an argument for the missed face mask. Yeah, no. I said that earlier too. Absolutely. The Goddard face mask the week before, the worst part of that whole thing, though, is that you lost your player for 4 weeks. Do we think about getting a backup tight end with our second pick or third? Maybe. I might want to go get a free agent, though, to fill that gap and keep my equity. Matt Ryan is about as used up as a stiff sock under a teenage boy's bed. That's terrible. The league owned the Eagles a face mask call. Okay, so you think it works out like that? Carson Wentz is on the bench again. Yeah, but here, get this, Cody. You could say that he's on the bench again for $33 million. Okay. You want to play me that way? I got $33 million coming to me. Time to call Gronk. See, I threw that out and everyone laughed at me. I'd call Gronkowski too. Hey, Gronk, what do you want? Hey, Gronk, what do you want? You know, tell Gronk, hey, man, I'll tell you what, I'll give you anything you need. I'll pay you $5 million, 5 games, $1 million a game. What do you want? You imagine putting Gronk on that team? Foles would have to beat us. Foles would, hey, of course, Nick, anything Philly related. Washington guaranteed him that much. Now it's the contract that Howie signed him to. That contract rolls over. Yeah, no, he's still working on that contract, man, that he signed in Philadelphia. He's making $33 million behind a guy making 1.4. Right? 5 Instagram models a day have it. Why not call Gronk? Have Goddard call him, right? Hey, this is Dallas Goddard. Maniac, man. You're good folks, man. Good folks, man. Yeah. So, again, Jalen Hurts was special. Now it's Green Bay. Got a lot of distractions out of the way here. Let's get back to being focused here. Stop that stuff and that cheerleader stuff. Let's get back to being focused. You got a team that can beat you. Do I think they will? No. But Aaron Rodgers can beat you. He can beat you. All right. Appreciate everybody coming aboard here today. Thank you so much. Xander, great stuff. Till tomorrow, we're going to get Merrill Reese on tomorrow. We'll talk to our friend. We didn't have him on last week. We'll talk to him tomorrow. Till then, 3 to 6 Eastern time. Have yourself a great one. We'll see you on the flip side.